Audio Jungle.
Welcome to another edition of Bystanders at Newsstand. I am Babalola Timothy. This morning we shall be looking onto the Punch newspaper. We have written there, Bayelsa and Kogi government polls results. Go to court, Buhari tells PDP. Others as Bello wins. There is a statement from Buhari telling people to go to court. PDP as Bello wins. Polls peaceful despite pockets of unrest. President. Polls peaceful despite pockets of unrest. President. There were no elections but wars. PDP Wada. There were no elections but wars. PDP Wada. APC government praise Jonathan. Presidency eats opposition. APC government praise Jonathan. Presidency eats opposition. We as well have some other stories. Expert blames border closure as inflation hits 11.61%. We also have Senate disowns hate speech bill. Sponsor gets threat messages. APC awaits Buhari's approval for NEC meeting. We have 8 die, 9 injured in Kogi petrol tanker crash. Benue fire kills permanent secretary, pregnant wife, children. Wow, this is so saddening. Benue wife kills permanent sec, pregnant wife, children. DSS lied over Nanzuki's continuous detention. Policemen driving against traffic crush. Wow. Policemen driving against traffic crush to death. We as well have on the Daily Sun newspaper some stories that are intriguing and very interesting. Aftermath of Cuba Pools loss, PDP declares war over Bayelsa, Kogi elections. PDP declares war over Bayelsa, Kogi election. Diri Wada prepare for tribunal. Our victory was made easy, says Silva. Our victory was made easy, says Silva. Buhari rejects violence in Kogi, congratulates Leon Bello. Buhari rejects violence in Kogi, congratulates Leon Bello. Lawan government Carlos orders too. We also have permanent secretary, pregnant wife, 2 kids burned to death. We have Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State middle with president of Dangote Foundation Alhaji Aliko Dangote right and billionaire IT guru Bill Gates after a roundtable discussion on healthcare interventions in Nigeria organized by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in situ, United States. We also have here Malabo, federal government to extradite ex-AGF Adoke over 288.6 billion naira oil deal. EFCC forwards arrest warrant charges to Interpol. Malami denies knowledge of ex-minister's Dubai arrest. You see, we have so many interesting stories on the newspaper headlines this morning. As you all know that our reviewers are always ready to make their opinion known to us. I will be right back. Please stay tuned.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Okay, we have go to court. Buhari tells PDP. Others as Bello win. No, as a Nigerian, what do you have to say to this?
Well, to me, I want to say something here. It is very simple. A lot of people says Bello wins. Who is Bello and which party is he from? I want to direct the question to you. Who is Bello? Bello himself, probably, I think, is an APC man. You understand me? So what do you expect to happen in Bayelsa? Do you expect to see a PDP on top while APC is at the top? It's not possible. You don't expect to see a PDP. Of course, you expect to see an APC. Listen, I used to say something. If Buhari can rig the election and enter as the president of this country again, then what is wrong with just Bayelsa? Nothing is wrong. Who are Bayelsas? What can they say? Who are they? People minding their business, shout for some minutes and drop. Is that the people you are talking about?
So it means you are saying because the presidency is from APC, it means it is nothing for Bayelsa State to emerge victor as an APC candidate.
You see, I said it before the election. I watched the election very closely. I monitored it myself. And I told my companions, my friends, I told them that the APC, they are going to rig this election. Because you don't expect, we are talking about ordinary states. The election was rigged in federal level. Nobody talks about it. So are you expecting that they cannot rig it in states? It's not possible. So the only thing we are very good at doing in Nigeria, we're very good at making noise. So everybody will make noise, shout, make noise, shout, and at the end of the day, it still remains like that. So what I'm trying to say is that this election was rigged. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know what is Nigerians' opinion. I don't know what their opinion is all about. But as far as I am concerned, I think they rigged that election.
But even considering the difference between the votes, well, you know, the disparity was just too much. The difference was obvious, crystal clear. It was so much. The lead between APC and PDP was so much. Do you still insist that the election was rigged?
Who is INEC, if I may ask? Federal government is INEC. Now, I put you in job. I am your boss. I gave you this job as my boy. And I instruct you, guy, this is the sayings. That election, make sure APC leads with a very good margin. That's all. And you go and sit down.
With a very good margin.
And you go and sit down. Do you know why they want it like that? Because if they do it that, let's look at this election, APC may not win. But let me tell you what they did. The president has given order. Let APC win with a very good margin. You don't expect his boy to say no. So what do you expect the boy? The boy will definitely do it and come up with a raw figure. And that's all. Now, I used to tell people something. If you look at the past election, the federal election, why did you see, I don't know what is wrong with Nigerians. Nigerians are not calculative. Why did you think they postponed the election the first time? They knew Buhari is going to lose. Probably his little gods that is worshipped, have told him that this election, you are losing it. So he felt, okay, fine, let's shift it. And you know Nigerians, because they shift it, we are more relaxed. Some did not come out even that day. But despite that, Atiku won the election. But let me tell you, I'm not a fan of Atiku, because Atiku is also a thief. But I think I would have preferred Atiku better than this guy, present guy. So what I'm trying to say, that I am a man who likes to say the truth and tell you the way it is. Take it or leave it. These people rigged this election. No matter, anyhow you look at it, APC rigged this election. They rigged it.
Okay. We have a statement from President. Now he said, "Polls peaceful despite pockets of unrest." Will you agree with the statement that the poll was peaceful and the election went peacefully?
I want to ask you, if you are the president of this country and you have to play your politics in the election, what will you tell your people? Will you tell them, no, it was not peaceful? You always tell them, yes, the election was peaceful because you have played your game. I tell people, politics in Nigeria is like a do or die affair. So if you want to go into politics in Nigeria, be ready to die. If you're not ready to die, just back out of politics. You must be ready to lay your lives.
So it means politics in Nigeria is a game of death.
It's a game of death in the fact that, let me tell you, take it or leave it. I don't want to say this. I keep on repeating it. Everybody keep attacking me. But I want to tell you the truth. This Buhari on the seat is not Buhari. Buhari is dead. Forget about Nnamdi Kanu's statements. I know it. There are so many things that I used in knowing the former Buhari and the present Buhari. I will give you one example. If you are very good in calculating things, go and check the former Buhari, look at his ear, and check the present one. You will understand. Second one, look at the neck. You will understand. So what I'm trying to say, take it or leave it. What they're just telling us in Nigeria is they're just giving us make me believe. But we all know very well that Buhari is dead. Let me tell you when Nigerians, we know. By the time Buhari does his government and comes down, another party takes over. All these things that be covering is going to be revealed. Let me take you back to the time of Jonathan. I never liked Jonathan myself. I detest him. But let me take you back to him. When Jonathan was on the seat, everybody was shouting, Jonathan is the man. Today, what are they shouting? Idiots. Very stupid guy. Do you understand? It means that when you're in power, they will not talk. Until when you are out of power, then they will talk. So what I'm trying to say is that this thing may not be revealed to us now. But as soon as Buhari gets out of power, we are certainly going to know that this is not the real Buhari. We will know.
This is not the Buhari. You insist
Yes.
that this is not the Buhari, that
Yeah.
the real Buhari is
Dead.
dead. Now, we have a statement from PDP Wada. He said there were no elections, but wars. You see, this is against the president's speech of a peaceful pool in the past just concluded election. Which will you have to support what Wada says that there were no election, but just wars?
Wada himself is a criminal. You don't understand how those things work. Because it never favors them. Wada is talking. If it favors him, Wada is not going to be talk. He's not going to say anything. That is what I used to tell Nigerians. If anything doesn't favor you, you talk about it. But once it favors you, you don't talk about it. Wada is talking because it never favored him. He's talking because he felt this didn't go well for him. So he has to talk because as a Nigerian, he has to talk. So Wada is just passing a comment saying there's no election. I'm not even going with his word because they are all criminals. But I'm just going by what I see. I think the election was not fair. And I think APC rigged the election. So there is no doubt about it. Yes, no doubt about it. So I think APC rigged the election. So when you look at the whole thing, the way it goes, you will understand what I mean, that APC rigged the election. And I want to ask you a question. I want to ask a very good, vital question. What stops your president? Every minute I keep asking you, from paying every Nigerian citizen 40,000 naira every month. Listen, I calculated it myself. If my president pays everybody in Nigeria 40,000 naira every month, my president is not going to spend up to 300 billion.
Do you know, statistically, we have over 200 million people in Nigeria. And you are telling me if the president should pay each individual the sum of 40,000 naira, we won't spend close to 300 million?
I said 300 billion.
Okay, 300 billion.
Yes. Now, let me tell you,
Okay.
300 billion is not more than what one person embezzle in Nigeria.
Wow.
So, you want to tell me you cannot pay your citizen something that will put your name? Do you know what it means to pay your citizens? Now, it means if you're not working, you are collecting 40,000. With that, you can be sustaining yourself until you see a job. But now, when you're now working and you are being paid 40,000, you could save the 40,000 they are paying you. Use your working money. Then 6 months, you know what you're going to realize.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, let us learn how to do things correctly in this country. Let me tell you, I said something because of these stupid things that they are doing. I myself, standing here, I've made up my mind that I want to contest for Imo State governorship seats. I want to contest for that seat.
Which year?
Yes, well, we cannot really say for now, but I am just having the intention that one day I will contest for that governorship
The
seat.
nearest future, right?
Yes, then I will teach the whole world, teach Nigerian, how, when you are in seats, how you maintain and pay your citizens. Anything you do in life, your citizens comes first.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Okay, we have PDP declares war over Bayelsa Kogi election. What do you have to say to this?
Declares war.
sir. Kogi election.
Well, I think that is the job of the editors. But did they really mean war? Of course, no. It's a feeling of rejection. They were crying out, I think, because of the state of the nation and how anarchy and violence have entrenched our system of selecting who should be our leader. So I think that is the major reason why they are not happy. So a kind of not in terms or in agreement with the election so far declared. So in that respect, I think they are doing the right thing. But I think they should follow the right judicial litigation process. But one thing again I am disappointed is even the judiciary cannot, does not represent the hope of a common Nigerian. So I think everything is in shambles. And in this state of anarchy, it is not lawful to adhere to what the rule of the law is saying. Not until we come to understand that we have the right to revote, to reject even when the imposition is being made on us as a people. Not until we rise. We are the people, we have the power. Not until we rise to realize this and to push our demands until they get to understand. They may not understand, but they have no choice than to play to the rule. Not until that is done, there will be no peace.
Okay, thank you, sir. We have go to court. Buhari tells PDP others as Bello wins. What do you have to say to this?
Buhari is saying go to court. Who is this Buhari in person? We have known his antecedents in the past. We know his current position in terms of rule and rule of law. A man who has no regard, no single regard for the rule of law is advising someone to go to court. It's a shame, it's a great disappointment. A man, there are several court injunctions given in this country, but he could not allow it to take place. And he's now enjoying people to go to court who are aggrieved as a result of injustice done to them. Deprivation, you're asking them to go to court, the court that you have no regard for, the court you have just bastardized. It's a very shameful. When I saw this, I felt disappointed. Of course, I know he's his person, and he cannot change. He's a man that destroyed the finger that fed him, as far as Buhari is concerned. He was absorbed as a military in the Nigerian force without education, as an illiterate. He rose up to rank, he was pushed to the rank of this, and he had to unset a duly elected government of Shagari that people elected duly. This is the people's choice. He overthrew the government. I think by now, if Nigeria is working, somebody like this man shouldn't have even opportunity to leave the prison. He committed treason offense against the state called Nigeria. And he still was given the opportunity, you see, to, to, to be the president of Nigeria, not my president. As far as I'm concerned, he is not my president because he was not duly elected by the people.
But he's still the president of Nigeria and you're in Nigeria, so
He's
he's
still
still
the president of Nigeria, of course, but what does he represent? Violence. So for him to say people to go to court, I am not surprised because he undid a duly elected government of Nigeria, of Shagari. So that same violence is still in his vein. So for him to support somebody like Bello, who owed the civil service workers, Kogi workers, for barely 3 years without paying them a dime, he didn't consider the moral aspect of that, or even religious aspect of that, that you have no right to owe a worker beyond the necessary time bound you agree to pay him. But this one, a stretch of close to 3 years, he never called this man to order. People were agitating, clamoring, dying of hunger. There was no pension, there was no gratuity. Even people in active service were deprived of their take-home stipends. And you have the guts to congratulate a man like this. What is the place of integrity? What is the place of immorality as far as Buhari is concerned? He has failed not only Nigeria but his generation. Time will only reveal this. Let him go ahead and take his children anywhere. But nemesis will catch up with them wherever they are.
Nemesis will catch up with them. Wow, what a statement. Now, there were no elections, but was PDP Wada. I know you have something tangible to say to that, so I would love to for you to make your expression known to us.
Yeah, there was no election. That is a statement of facts based on the prevailing circumstances. As I just stated here, not quite long, that Bello, Yaya Bello, the incumbent governor of Kogi State, has not. What is the essence of governance? The essence of governance is to bring the dividends of democracy closer to the people, make them feel a sense of belonging. And for close to 3 years of his reign as a governor, of his sitting as a governor, people has been subjected to abject poverty. There is no dividends of the. I was in Kogi State around September, precisely September 28th. Did not see the over 4 local governments I traversed, even the state capital. It's nothing to write home about. And when PDP said there was no elections, I sampled the opinion of Kogi's people, citizens, indigenous. They rejected him, even in most of his campaign. Imagine that a governor from Kaduna State, El-Rufai, should leave Kaduna State, governance in Kaduna State, to come and kneel down on behalf of Bello. Meaning that the people have rejected him, asking the Kogi indigenes to forgive him. Is that not enough evidence to tell us that this man has failed? What breaks my heart is a young, vibrant man, Eh? If the old people are disappointing us, how comes this man who should have a sense of, responsibility, who should be eager to make a name for himself and his generation to come, disappointing us so soon is very sad. There was no election. It is violence does not suggest that the interest of the people is recognized. And where there is violence, there are bound to be set of anarchy.
It means you are in support with what Wada said.
Absolutely in support.
Okay, now the president said, "Pulls peaceful despite pockets of unrest," and you know this is kind of against what Wada say. What Wada says. So what do you have to say to it?
Okay, he said,
"Pulls peaceful despite pockets of unrest." That was what our president. That was what he said.
I tell you, this man, I have studied his antecedents. I knew what happened when he came as a military government, as president or head of state. You see, his path, his focus, his policies is about anti-people. So it's not a surprise. He takes pleasure when he sees people brutalizing citizens. When he sees people in the state of discomfort, he takes pleasure in that. How can you say in a state where they are using helicopter to fly, to cut away ballot buses? Look at how many people that were murdered in the state just for a state governorship election. And he did not, of course, he has no regard for the citizens of Nigeria. Otherwise, he should have no moral guts to tell us there was peaceful election. He has no regard for the people that died because he preferred even Nama, cattle, than Nigerians. So it is not a surprise that he said that he can make such statements.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Go to court. Buhari tells PDP and others as Bello wins. What do you have to say to that?
Well, it's so hilarious. Go to court. The only response from Mr. President. The whole Nigerians know what Buhari meant by telling the aggrieved aspirants to go to court. It's simple. Because Buhari has bought them over. Judiciary has been bought over by the executive. So, if they thwart your voices from being hearing, you aggrieved electorates, you aggrieved gubernatorial aspirants, you should go to court to go and waste your money and they fought there. What is being so funny? It's being so funny because it thinks that we are nobody, it thinks that we don't have brain, it thinks that we don't know what we are doing. If I could be the aggrieved aspirants, I would just go and rest and carry on with my business. Because going to court is a waste of time.
It's a waste of time. Yes. Okay, so we also have PDP declares war over Bayelsa, Kogi elections.
It is the same legal action. Declare war or no war, what are you going to do? The mandate in Kogi State, as far as I'm concerned, was boggled by Yaya Bello-led APC bandits. Yaya Bello, governor of Kogi State, imported all manner of bandits, murderers, kidnappers, and armed robbers into Kogi State to suppress, to thwart the force of the electorate who come out en masse to boot him out. One, does he pay salary to the civil service? Civil service is rendered in Kogi State is for over 36 months now is null. Two, why should federal government release 10 billion naira to Kogi State governor prior to the election, just 4 or 5 days to the election? Why? Why should they disburse such amount to Kogi State? What for? Is it the monthly allocation? Do you call that amount security vote or bailout? We've not been able to understand what the 10 million given to Kogi State prior to Kogi Goba election was meant for. I'm telling you, the aggrieved aspirants, the electorates, they should all keep quiet and nurse their injuries. Because if you go to court, you are just wasting your time. That 10 billion given to Yaya Bello, they will use it on the judiciary, buy judiciary over, and you will still be edged out. If I could be WADA, if I could be the women, the female aspirants of SDP, I can just go back to my business and leave these people with their anomalies.
Okay, we have PDP Wada says there were no elections but war. PDP Wada says
Yes, the reason why PDP is saying so, in virtually every constituency, every community, every polling unit in Kogi State were invaded by thugs, but bought over by the APC candidates.
okay, you are pointing fingers that the talks were bought over by the APC. Don't you think it could be done by anybody since it is politics?
No. Listen, you don't need to advertise good wine. When wine is sweet, you know sweet wine by tests. So what are you going to do advertisement for? Good wine need no bush. That is the right English proverbial language to it. Do you know Malaya there know that he enjoys people's support? His popularity alone in Kogi State is enough to earn him that constituency as a senator. You know, Malaya is a popular man. He's not a notorious man in Kogi State. Then Wada has come to correct anomalies committed by APC gubernatorial candidates who you know did not come into limelight in Kogi Guba by democratic process. He was appointed after the death of Audi, the right man that won election. Then the second man who was supposed to be the governor was Adeleke. You are aware of that. But they single-handedly point at Bello to become governor in Kogi State. Bello does not know what it takes to win an election. What he knows is manipulation, rigging, using talks, using murderers. If you see what happened in Kogi State on Saturday, it was war. I'm telling you, that is the right language. War everywhere. There was smoke everywhere, shooting everywhere, abduction everywhere. So that wasn't election, it was war. I love that term.
So you mean you are in support of what he said, right?
Yes, I support PDP.
Okay. President Buhari says pool was peaceful. Pool was peaceful.
Thank you so much. The poll was peaceful, as Mr. President, Mr. Leftist President said in his hospital bed in London. You are here, there in London. You know what transpired in Kogi State and Bayelsa states. It is only God that will judge him.
Audio Jungle.
Buhari tells PDP and others as Bello wins. What do you have to say to that?
Well, first and foremost, I would say it's two-way things. Yeah, definitely. The only way, if you are aggrieved, you told is going to the court. Then the other way is that whether you go to court, you don't go to court, the court is in my palms.
The court is in his palm. That he has control over the court.
Yeah, he has control over the court because the court would definitely do his bidding.
You mean he is, in fact, he's the one dictating the law to the people of the law now?
Sure, he is, because if he's not the one dictating the law, the president would have been impeached because he has committed impeachable offense. It is a taboo for a man to take the law of the land and sit on it. Buhari has not only sat on the law of the land, he has taken the law of the land and threw into the dungeon. So he is now the law of Nigeria and not the president of Nigeria.
He's now the law of Nigeria. You know, there's this popular saying that no one is above the law. By what you have said now, it means our president is above the law.
Yeah, he's the law of Nigeria because why I say he's the law of Nigeria, the court ordered him to let Dazuki go. Dazuki is still where? In detention. The court ordered him to let El Zazak go. El Zazak is where? Still in detention. The court ordered him to let Sowore go. Sowore is still where? In detention. El Zazaki's wife is still in detention. And the law is not doing anything, so he is the law of the land. And then a man who will just wake up and unleash military on the citizens, he's the Lord. So when I say he is the Lord of the land, he is the law of the land. I'm not making mistake, I'm not missing words. So it's just a pity that Mr. Pity cannot pity himself. Because PDP going to court is already, they are already losers. They shouldn't just bother wasting their money. Because they both from the tribunal might favor them, but the appeal and the Supreme, they are losers.
They are losers. It means you yourself, you don't have faith in Nigeria law system.
Even the child in my wife's womb do not even have trust on Nigeria judiciary system.
Wow.
Because the judiciary system of Nigeria is being manipulated by the executive. And the second arm of government that would have also rose in defense of the judiciary is also they are toothless bulldog. That is why you see people say, that's why you see people who come out, people who just wake up in the morning, they have no bill to sponsor, they'll come and sponsor his speech bill and what have you because they had nothing to do. And how can you have, if the legislative arm of the government is up and doing, they are what they are supposed to do, they would have done what is needful because they can't watch the president being the law of the land because they are the one who has the right to take the actions. So that's why I said, you see, every part of them has been crippled by the president and they've been short-lived. Huh? If a president who knows the law could work with a man who stole the maize, so what are we talking about? And the man is an innocent. He's a saint. If if the chairman of the APC will tell you, leave PDP and join APC, you become a saint. Your sins are forgiven. What are you talking about? So already the president is the law. He interprets the law in his own way. Do my biddings and your sins are forgiven. Work against me and I will give you all your count charges and sentence you to Kirikiri.
Well, okay, the last one we have to talk about here. PDP declares war over Bayelsa, Kogi elections.
Oh, the war they have to declare is still going to the court. They cannot see. Yes, we knew that in Kogi, I can authoritatively say it, without fear or favor, in Kogi State the election was massively rigged. Because you cannot tell me a sitting governor who is owing 39 months salary and then comes back and win in a landslide.
I think to the money we are paid in the eve of the election.
Why would the money be paid in the eve of the election? Why would the Senate approve payment of Kogi State in the time of election? Why did they not approve it before the election? Why did they not wait after the election to approve it? Why did they have to approve it now? It is because they want to rig the election. And then no matter how it is, even if you pay the money in the eve of the election, that does not still change the mind of the people. Because they know that you have only just done what they call the dangling of the carrot and the dog. That's what they know, but we know what has happened. That's why you saw militarization everywhere. If you are sure of winning the election, why after paying the arrears, then you still there's still there's a heavy presence of federal might. The military all over the place, the police everywhere. So see, these things are all games. They are all games they've played. They play their games in a very good way that, exposes their secrets. We see the way their professions are being done. But all I would just say to the PDP is that they should go back home, re-strategize. Because if they drag this case to anywhere, they will not win it. The highest place they can win is in the tribunal. But once it gets to from the appeal to the Supreme, they are losers. Because the federal government, through the president and the attorney general and the chief justice of the federation, they will bring in judges that will dance to the tune of the president. And if you kick against the president, they bring your count charges for you. So those are the things. If the Supreme Court could tell us that there is not that a name, Muhammadu Buhari, Muhammadu and Mohammed is the same thing. So what are we not? What should we not expect? If you go to the bank today and your name is spelled T-O-B-E, and you come and your name is spelled T-O-B-E-C-H, and you go there and you saw and they misspelled it, they'll tell you it's not the same name. It's the same pronunciation, but they'll tell you it's not the same name. They'll tell you go and swap Davis to say that this is your name. You cannot even claim your money. But the Supreme Court of the land says that these things are the same thing. So my brother, the federal government, the PDP should just go and, that's my advice to them. They should just go and sleep so that we can have rest.